Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda, giving you all the latest updates on anything and all things Ravens. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. Really do appreciate the subscribes and all the likes, man. To the new subscribers, thank you for joining. I really do appreciate it. Let's keep it going, man. So, first up, John Harbaugh addressed the press yesterday. And there was a lot going on. Some of it good news, some of it bad news, and some of it we've already heard many times before. And like I said, I pretty much said every single video is about something. It has something to do with number 77 at this point. Because every Ravens fan can agree, every sports analyst can agree, worst right guard in the league. A D3, no, hold on. I've said this before. A middle school offensive lineman could do better. I could do better. I'm 4'4", weighing probably 2 times less than he is, and I could probably block better for Lamar Jackson. Just throwing that out there. I'm not going to push Myles Garrett into Lamar Jackson. I'll probably hang on to Myles Garrett onto his leg and be like, no! But anyway, let's dive into the presser a little bit here. So, Ravens returns are possible. We're seeing Tavius Robinson might come back this week for practice, and Ardarius Washington might come back this week for practice. 2 huge additions to the Ravens defense that we desperately need. Ardarius Washington suffered, that tear at the strength and conditioning, and Harbaugh did mention that we were probably going to see him at some point in December, and it's now December. So hopefully we get him back because he was a big addition to the Ravens defense, especially after Week 11 last season. When he moved over to the free safety position, it was like it allowed Kyle Hamilton to be freed up a little bit, and he was just you remember that game against the Steelers where Russell Wilson ran it and then didn't slide. Ardarius Washington popped the ball out, and it was just beautiful, man. So I'm really hoping to see if we can get Ardarius Washington back at some point, like start practicing this week and comes back next week for game time. Same with Robinson, man, who has great development on the Ravens, and I would love to just see him back and ready to go at some point next week. And obviously, if they do, both of them do come back on Wednesday, I'd rather obviously they're not going to be able to play against the Steelers, but I want to see them back up at some point next the week because it's a lot of time to get the practice rolling, get some reps in and stuff like that. So couldn't have asked for a better time as well because, mind you, our offense is the one that's been struggling. Defense is again still bend don't break mentality. Defense is the reason why we've been able to stay in games and win games. So adding more guys there, especially talented guys, just boosts especially my morale for our defense at least. So I just want to see those guys come out and play. All right, moving on here to speaking of injury updates, Harbaugh also mentioned that Nate Wiggins, remember, who left the game after the first quarter against the Bengals, and pretty much it was all downhill from there. He is day-to-day, so it's possible he could play on Sunday. Not entirely sure. I don't think he will, per se. I guess we'll really have to find out. I think Thursday and Friday's practices are going to be the real decider if he does show up, whether it's on a limited basis or a full basis. Or it might be a game-time decision. So am I worried if Nate Wiggins doesn't play? I mean, Steelers, to me, don't really have, and this is a bash to Steelers fans, you don't have anyone that I would be worried about as in terms of receivers. You used to have George Pickens, but George Pickens is George Pickens. But when Nate Wiggins left the game against the Bengals, Jamar Chase went off because Marlon Humphrey, I'm sorry, he gets boned by Jamar Chase every single time they compete against each other. It's not that Marlon Humphrey can't do it, he's just not that fast. So Nate Wiggins can match Jamar Chase for speed. So if we do get Nate Wiggins back for Sunday, great. If we don't, then I'm like, okay, then we have to kind of rely on Marlon Humphrey, which is okay. It's not like we aren't facing any receivers that's like a Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, So, and we're not facing Joe Burrow, who, Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers versus Joe Burrow on the Bengals. I'm taking Joe Burrow on the Bengals every single day of the week. You know, over. I am not saying Aaron Rodgers over Joe Burrow over Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying on the current teams they're on. I'm never, I'm not saying that at all. You know, Joe Burrow hasn't even played the only full season he's ever played in the league was when he went to the Super Bowl, and that's when everyone was injured. Like literally everyone else was injured. I mean, that's not taking it away from Joe Burrow, obviously, and he even started that season. You know, he didn't get the full training camp and everything, and he still came in, was able to play week 1. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is Nate Wiggins possible for Sunday. If not, I'm like, okay, then we'll get him back next week because I want him to come back for the Steelers because that's a divisional round game. We need to win that game to keep the Steelers at a longer arm's length from taking the AFC North. So of course I want Nate Wiggins to play, but if he doesn't, I'm not too worried about how our defense is going to do. And here we come to the last part. There was a tweet on X that I'm not going to read out in its entirety, but I'm going to speak on it in a broad sense. Harbaugh mentioned that Emory Jones Jr. played very well, and he was very impressed with how Junior's performance, and expect to see a little bit more reps out of him. Which is great because I want Emory Jones Jr. to play. I think for a first game against the Bengals, he did pretty well. Left guard, and the tweet that went out again, to put a broader sense onto it. Okay, whether or not Emory Jones Jr. plays amazing for the rest of the season, whether he just completely just is an eye opener for the left side of the football, or left side of the line, left side of the football. It doesn't matter because then there's the right side, which is 10 times worse. Mind you, Jones Jr. played at right guard and rotated the left guard when he came into the league, which is dude, no matter what, nothing will happen in the right guard position because Harbaugh sees 77 as his golden boy. But we've all seen the videos. If you guys go to his Senior Bowl highlights, same thing that we're seeing in the NFL right now. Whether we like it or not, it's come to the point where it's how can we? The only way that 77 gets benched or gets replaced is if he gets injured. It's just the only way it's going to happen. He just gets injured, and then we have Ben Cleveland in, or we move Jones back to his rightful place at right guard. Regardless of it or not, it's happening, and I'm not accepting it, obviously, because I refuse to accept the fact that that is our best option at right guard. I refuse. I have refused it since week 1. I have refused it. I certainly have refused it since the Browns game. But you know what? We're gonna end this video on more of a happier note because it's great to see that Emory Jones Jr. is getting praise, even if it is in the wrong position. I'm just throwing it out there that I want to see Jones Jr. play a little bit more, get a lot more reps in, become more comfortable in his position, and become a more reliant piece on the offensive line for run blocking and especially for pass blocking. Because if Derrick Henry can get going on the left side of the ball, then it's whoa. If he gets going, it's game over. It is just straight freight train all the way to the house. He ain't getting it on the right side, so let's hope. I just hope that Emory Jones Jr. can really be a game-changing piece and just keeps improving, keeps developing on the left side. But figure out the right side, whether something happens or whether we figure it out in the offseason, because Ravens fans are sick of it. media outlets are noticing it. Only person that doesn't see it is John Harbaugh. Thank you for tuning in to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Again, thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one, everyone.